Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We are starting a brand new series in a brand new year, and every year we do a theme, and this year's theme word is effective. We want to be effective in our walk with Christ as a church, accomplishing our mission, our purpose. The word effective is going to be the theme word for this year. And so if we're going to be effective, we have to have a strong foundation. And so we're going through the Ten Commandments. Well, the last time we did a series on the Ten Commandments was 2016. So we are going to take the next 10 weeks and go through God's top 10. And the theme today is commandment number 1, you shall have no other gods before me. And I realize that unless we get this first one right, the other 9 don't matter. It doesn't matter. If you don't have God first, it doesn't matter if you're honoring your father and your mother. It doesn't matter if you're stealing. It doesn't matter if you're lying. It doesn't matter if you're committing adultery or murder. None of those other commandments matter if we don't get this first one right. And so I begin this message with a question. What is your number one priority? What do you value over everything else? What is the one thing that you hold on to after you sacrificed everything else? Well, Exodus 20, verse 3 says, you shall have no other gods before me. If you're a Christian, then that priority, that one thing that you hold on to after you sacrifice everything else is God. And this is why this is so important. Life, with very few exceptions, boils down to priorities. See, guys, we always do what we believe to be important. We always do. Whenever someone tells you, well, I don't have time for that or didn't have time for that, what they're telling you is they didn't think it was very important. Okay? Because you always do what you believe is important. Because your priorities get your time, they get your attention, they get your thoughts, they get your passion, they get your money, they get your resources, what you believe to be the most important. So if I was to not listen to what you say, but to watch your life for a week and look at what you spend money on and what you give your thoughts to and what you give your attention to, what you spend time on, and I could find out what you believe to be the most important. Not by anything you say, but by what you structure your life around. And so King Solomon was asked by God, what do you want? And the 2 Chronicles 1:7, the night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, ask for whatever you want me to give you. Okay? That's an amazing question. And what Solomon asked for, if God asked you that, that would be your number one priority, what you desire more than anything else. Solomon answers in verse 10, give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may lead this people, for who is able to govern the great people of yours? So if God was to appear to you in a dream, what would you ask? Ask for whatever you want. Well, if you were Janis Joplin, you say, Lord, why don't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz, right? If you were Mariah Carey, well, all she wants for Christmas is, well, whoever's listening to that stupid song, all 2 of you, you know? You know me, all I want is people to get out of my way on Nicholasville Road. You know, the Lord appears to me, Lord, I want my own lane on Nicholasville Road and keep everyone out of it. That would be what I would ask for. But you see, Solomon's father, King David, was asked that same question. He answered it very differently than Solomon did, or Janice, or Mariah, or me. Psalm 27:4, he says this, one thing I ask from the Lord, and only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and seek him in his temple. God said, David, what do you want? David said, I just want you. I want you, Lord. I'm not asking for riches, I'm not asking for wisdom, I'm not asking for anything. I'm asking, I just want you. And guys, how we answer that question dictates the path of our lives. Solomon asked for wisdom and knowledge, not for the Lord. He valued wisdom and knowledge above everything else. It seems good, doesn't it? Well, maybe, but the story of King Solomon, if you study it in the Bible, is one of the most tragic in all the Bible. It's amazing how foolish the wisest man who ever lived could be. Not because he wasn't wise, but because he prioritized the wrong thing. And the wrong thing became his God with devastating consequences. I was reading this passage and preparing for this, and it just hit me that the Holy Spirit, through this biblical writer, was saying, compare David and Solomon, the wisest man and the godliest man, the one who asked for wisdom, the one who asked for God. Compare their lives. 1 Kings 11, 1 through 6. King Solomon, however, loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonites, Hittites. They're from nation about which the Lord had told the Israelites, you must not intermarry with them because they will surely turn your hearts after their gods. Nevertheless, Solomon held fast to them in love. He had 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. His wives led him astray. As Solomon grew old, his wives turned his hearts after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God as the heart of David his father had been. He followed Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. So Solomon did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not follow the Lord completely as David his father had done. I'm like, you think King David followed God completely? He was an adulterer. He was a murderer. He took a census which cost the lives of 75,000 of his own countrymen. Are you serious, God? He followed you completely? Yes. See, guys, the reason why they were different, why David was known as a man after God's own heart and Solomon fell, was David got the first commandment right. Solomon never got the first command right. And because he never got the first command right, it didn't matter what else he did. And in the same way, if you don't get this first command right, it's not going to matter what else you do. Okay? Because Solomon didn't get this right, his life was a shipwreck. If you don't get this command right, your life's going to be a shipwreck too. All right, so let's take a look at this. Why David? David never made sin a lifestyle. If you look at that, he's a man after God. He never made sin a lifestyle. See, when David committed sins, there were a lot of them. They were never premeditated. They were sins of the moment. They were sins of passion. They were sins where he lost his head. And then when he would always repent and come back. It's a good model to follow. But see, Solomon was different. Solomon went and wallowed in it. He actually went to find sin. He made it his lifestyle. And guys, in Ecclesiastes 2, 1 through 11, Solomon shows us his heart. And it shows that he's going after 4 different gods, the same different gods that all of us are tempted to go after. Nothing's changed. Ecclesiastes 2, 1 through 11 says this, I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is madness. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs for water to water groves and flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself, the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well, the delights of a man's heart. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all of this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet when I surveyed that all my hands had done and what I had told to achieve, everything was meaningless. A chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Wow. This describes his rejection of God as first and going after what this world has to offer. And he goes after 4 gods that he placed before the one true God, and the same 4 gods today that people go after. Number 1 is the God of pleasure. Everybody say pleasure. God of pleasure. He went to sea. He wanted to be happy. He wanted to make himself happy. He was going to go after what made him feel good. Okay? Now, let me first speak to an incorrect belief that a lot of people have, especially our young people. I always thought that, I don't know, the good stuff was on Satan's side. Like God there was all this good stuff, but I just wasn't allowed to do any of that because that was Satan's territory. Nothing could be further from the truth. Satan can't create anything. He can't make anything. Everything that you enjoy in life, everything, God created. God created taste buds so you enjoy food. God created fast cars you can drive so you have a good time. God created sports. God created friendship. God created love. God created basketball where UK beats Florida. Oh yeah. Okay? Satan didn't create any of that. He can only twist and pervert what God created. Remember, pleasure is God's territory, not Satan's. We have to get that right. Satan can only twist what God's created. So everything you enjoy, all the pleasure of life, are God's creation. They can be used by Satan to tempt, but they're not Satan's territory. And we are a nation of pleasure chasers. Some of my best friends enjoy, there's nothing wrong with enjoying things. Some of my best friends enjoy things. I even enjoy things every now and then. Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh, yeah. See, guys, when everybody was going nuts, going to Walmart, to empty out the shelves of bread and milk, I went for the Reese's peanut butter cups. Follow me for more Nicholasville survival. Yeah, exactly. See, I hide them. Follow me for more Nicholasville survival tips, right? But if I was to eat all of these Reese's peanut butter cups, I'd get sick. See, I would experience what all atheistic philosophers and hedonists who run after pleasure experience. It's called the hedonistic paradox. The hedonistic paradox shows this: the more you go after pleasure, the less pleasure you get. Okay, that's the hedonistic paradox. It's also called the law of diminishing returns. The more you eat candy, the less you're going to like it. The more stuff you get, the less you're going to value it. The more pleasure you seek, the less you will actually receive. The harder you run after what makes you feel good, the less good you feel. And if I was to eat all of these Reese's cups, one day after the next day, they're great one day, the next day a little less, and next day a little less, the next day a little less, right? Well, that is what happens when you go after the God of pleasure. Okay, that's the way Satan works. He's willing to tempt you and for you to enjoy things early on, but he does not want you to enjoy anything. All right, Satan knows something about pleasure that we don't. Like all pleasure is subject to the law of diminishing returns. Satan knows this and most of us don't. Take drug addiction, for example. People tell me that the first hit's amazing. And Satan's perfectly glad for you to have that at first. But his plan is to use the hedonistic paradox against you to get you to invest more and more and more and more of yourself in this drug, getting less and less and less pleasure from it, until his finished product is the addict who is spending all of his time, all of his money, all of his passion to get a drug and getting no pleasure about it at all. Ask any addict, and that's Satan's finished work. It's the same way he is with materialism as well. To get you to spend more and more money, enjoying things less and less, so you're so far in debt and receive less and less. Once it gets you to the point where you're giving 100% of yourself to the God of pleasure and receiving no pleasure. That's his goal. And that's how like I said, that's how he gets us. His goal is for you not to enjoy. His goal is for you to be spiritually, financially, emotionally bankrupt, with you investing everything in the pleasure and getting no pleasure at all from it. And that's what Solomon did. Pursuing the God of pleasure didn't work out for him. He said it's meaningless. Went after what made me feel good and I feel awful. And the same thing, if you go after the God of pleasure, if you chase what makes you feel good, you will wind up exactly in the same place. So he found it was meaningless. So he went after God number 2. We find it here, the God of productivity. Everybody say productivity. Productivity. He became a workaholic. He figured out, hey, this stuff doesn't make me feel good, so I'm going to become a workaholic. I'm going to get all my props from my work. He devoted himself to building a name for himself. He went after money. He built big houses and all kinds of things for himself, to himself maybe. He knocked himself out in the corporate world. Made a huge name for himself. And I once heard a preacher named Mike Yaconelli say something I'd never heard before. He said, I don't speak about evil enough. Evil really is real. It's just that evil sometimes looks a lot different than we think. He said, I think evil looks like workaholism. He said, he asked us, we have a bunch of youth pastors there in the room, and he asked us, he said, what is it that really keeps you away from God? Isn't it the fact that you're just too busy? Isn't that what really keeps you away from God? He said, if Satan can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. And many of us today are worshiping the God of productivity because we can get so many awards and rewards from it. You get promotions and raises and smiles. You're constantly reinforced for it. I'm not saying to be lazy. I'm not saying not to work hard. If you're getting paid to work 40 hours, you better be working 40 hours. Because that's stealing. That's commandment number 8. But you'll find the worshiping the God of productivity will get you exactly what it got Solomon: meaninglessness, chasing the wind. For you workaholics out there, just know this. They'll list your job and opening before they list your obituary. I was a youth pastor at 4 different churches, become senior pastor at Catalyst. You know what happened at all 4 of those churches? They had another youth pastor before the moving van left my driveway. Just remember that. Solomon found no fulfillment in worshiping the gods of pleasure or productivity. So he went to God number 3, the God of provision. Everybody say provision. So we got pleasure, productivity, now we got provision. Solomon said, I'm going to embrace materialism. I'm going to surround myself with stuff. I'm going to go after the latest stuff. I'm going to acquire more possessions, and they will make me happy. It's an interesting problem within Christianity today. What's one more way the world has influenced the church, made up of God's holy people. And we just kind of do it like a default mode in life, and we don't really notice it and don't really think much about it. And it seems so harmless. You want to know what it is? It's this. The thought process goes like this. If I make $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 or $100,000, I should live a $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 or $100,000 lifestyle. You say, well, Dave, what's wrong with that? Nothing really, except the fact you did it without thinking, without questioning. What if God had purposes for that extra income rather than you expanding your lifestyle? Think about it. When's the last time you got a raise? Did you have more money left over at the end of the month? Not likely, unless you're a serious budgeter. It just disappeared. The more money you make, the more money you spend. And it just happens in the church. We just do it without thinking. For 11 years, Rachel and I had at least one kid in the house full time. From the time Case was born, the time Sam went to kindergarten, 11 years we had a kid in the house. All right. Every one of those kids, every time one of those kids got old enough to go to school, we'd have another one. I don't know what was happening. The stork kept showing up at our doorstep. We must have been worshiping the God of productivity. But anyway, finally, our youngest went to school, and Rachel started working 3 days a week instead of 2 days a week. That equal to about $400 per month. And at the end of the year, we should have, bank account hadn't moved $1. We should have had $4,800 more dollars, right? No. We just kind of went along with what everyone else was doing. Whatever you make, live at that lifestyle level. Then I read about Billy Graham. Now, Billy Graham, if you don't know who Billy Graham is, I'm sorry. But Billy Graham was the most effective evangelist that ever lived. He preached the gospel to more people in more continents than any person who's ever lived. And his income was in the millions. I don't know if you knew that or not. Billy Graham's income was in the millions. Yet he set his lifestyle level at $80,000. Now this was back in the 1990s. So whatever. But he made millions, but he set his lifestyle level here, and the rest he gave away. He gave it to God's work, gave to people, gave to his church. You say 80,000, well, he's living really well. Well, he worked harder than most people I've ever known. He earned it. He earned millions for his work, but he said, I'm setting my lifestyle at this level, and the rest I'm giving away. I'm giving to God's work. So what do you do when you get a raise? See, Solomon amassed all kinds of things for himself, more and more and more and more. And he looked around and said, it's all meaningless, it's all junk. I need to have a yard sale. Everything that I went after, it's just sitting in my garage, junk. And so will you if you work the God of provision. So he found that the God of pleasure, the God of productivity, the God of provision were empty and meaningless. So he went to God number 4, the God of popularity. See, Solomon's life was a worship service to himself, as many of our lives are, unfortunately. He said, I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me, and all this my wisdom stayed with me. He said, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. If I wanted, I went after it. I wanted, I bought it. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in my labor, and this was the reward for my toil. And everything in Solomon's life was for himself. He indulged himself, brought fame to himself. He treated himself like he was the number one priority. And many of us do the exact same thing. My wants, my needs, my desires, those are the most important things in life. My satisfaction of my wants, needs, that's of paramount importance to me. You want to know why so many Christians have trouble worshiping God on Sunday mornings? You want to know why? Sometimes it's really hard to connect with God on Sunday morning. Why sometimes you're just not really into going to church, giving God your worship. You know why that is? Well, here's a possibility. Consider this. Because many times, Monday through Saturday is a worship service to ourselves. And Sunday, man, it's just too hard to change gears. I've been worshiping myself. My life has been a worship service to myself Monday through Saturday. And Sunday morning, it's just really too hard to switch gods. It's difficult to make that transition on Sunday morning sometimes. When the human heart isn't fully devoted to God, it always does the same thing, and we always get the same results. If we go after the gods of pleasure, productivity, provision, popularity, we experience the same thing Solomon did. And that's why so many people are echoing the cry of Solomon, meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Because they're going after the same gods he went after. See, Ecclesiastes 2:11, when I surveyed all my hands had done and all I told to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind, nothing was gained under the sun. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it well, one of my favorite quotes. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. And I believe that's true. I mean, how many people do you see that are just thrilled with life? How many of you all know people, man, they are just getting after it. They are enjoying, they are living 100% of what they're supposed to be doing. Man, they're getting satisfaction out of their work, satisfaction out of their family. They are just love it. They are joy-filled. They're excited. They're optimistic. How many people do you know that are that way? Probably not many. How many people do you know that are moving forward with some great vision, some great purpose, some great passion that's driving them? Do you know people like that? Probably not. Not many. But as Scripture shows, King David was very different. He never made sin a lifestyle. He never committed the ultimate sin, which was putting something before God. All right? David never broke the first commandment, you shall have no other gods before me. The second thing that David had that was different than Solomon was he had an unashamed passion for God. Unashamed passion for God. He was fired up about what God was doing. Psalm 27:4, one thing I ask from the Lord, this is only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and seek him in his temple. He said, Lord, I just want you. You're my number one priority. I was thinking this the other day. Back in 1996, Rachel and I got married. We've been married 28 and a half years. It's a long time. And I remember standing there in front of the church, taking vows. Pastor was leading through. And I thought to myself, what if Rachel had looked at me on our wedding day when we're saying vows and said, hey, before we get married, Dave, I just need to know a few things. How far is too far with other guys? Like, how far can I go with other guys before you start getting mad? Good question to ask a husband on wedding day. What if Rachel would have said, well, can I kiss him? Will that make you mad? How many times can I go out on dates with other guys before you start getting mad? And I'd be like, you got to be kidding me, right? But she would continue. What's the minimum amount of times I need to tell you that I love you? What's the bottom line? Once a day? Once a month? What? How's the minimum time for me to tell you that I love you before you start thinking that I don't? How many times can I commit adultery before you stop forgiving me? I need to know that too. Standard questions for marriage, you know the deal. I would look at her, if she was asking me those questions on our wedding day, I would have looked at her and said, you don't get it. If you have to ask me those questions, you don't know anything about marriage. I would say, I'm the only one, or not at all. I'm not going to share my bride with anyone. I don't even care if I get 99% of you. No, it's either 100% or none. And that's what every husband and wife should expect. It's the way God is with us, you all. The Bible tells us we're his bride, and he's not sharing his bride with any other gods. And if you are asking God those questions, hey, God, how far can I go before you start getting mad? You don't understand what it means to be a Christian, be a follower of Jesus Christ. So that's what King David did. The only thing he wanted was God. He wasn't perfect, but his passion was for God and for God alone. God asked David, David, what do you want? David answered, Lord, I just want you. I'm not going after the gods of pleasure, or productivity, or provision, or popularity. I'm not even giving them space in my mind to think about. I just want you. And he had a hunger for and a thirst for God in his life. He said in Psalm 63, verse 1, he says this, my God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. Everybody say thirst. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water. See, guys, keeping God first leads to a need, a visceral need for him. Every one of us knows what it's like to be thirsty, okay? Now, the thirstiest I've ever been was my senior year in college during preseason, during 4 days playing soccer. Hot Kentucky sun in August. We ran until our legs fell off. I could never drink enough water. I know what it's like for your body just to be crying for water. All right? And God could have created life so we didn't need food or water. You know that, right? He's God. So why would he create life with us to need food and water and sustenance? Well, there's only one reason. Because we would have a constant reminder of what hunger and thirst is. We would know physical hunger and physical thirst and how satisfying that hunger and thirst with food and water feels like, so that we would understand spiritual hunger and thirst. To understand that the satisfaction for those hungers and thirsts come only from God. He created a physical need within us so that we would understand the spiritual need that we have for God. And that he's the only satisfaction for that thirst. Solomon went to the gods of pleasure, productivity, provision, popularity to try to satisfy his spiritual hungers and thirst. That's like trying to drink salt to satisfy physical thirst. David went to God. He went to God for the satisfaction of his hungers and thirst. Be like David. You know why sometimes you don't connect with God in worship? Why sometimes your mind just wanders? When even though you know God is good, even though you love God, but sometimes you just don't connect. Here's why. I learned this. It's because you're not hungry, because you're not thirsty. I remember one time back when the awful restaurant Cece's Pizza was around. It's the worst pizza ever. It was terrible. But the thing is, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet, and there was plenty of it. And so back when the church was behind the boot stores, right across 27, and sit there and eat at Cece's Pizza, and you could just completely, just go nuts at the all-you-can-eat buffet. Well, I remember doing that one day and filled up on this terrible, awful cardboard pizza. Well, I got home and Rachel had surprised me. She had made Thanksgiving dinner. She had made, it was like in March or whenever it was. She had made turkey. She'd made dressing. She'd made sweet potato casserole, which is more butter and brown sugar than sweet potato. The whole 9 yards, she had fixed Thanksgiving dinner, the best meal of the year. She'd made it. I didn't want it, y'all. Wasn't because Thanksgiving dinner wasn't good. As I was so full of the lesser that I had no appetite for the greater. I was so full of stuff that was awful. And in the same way, the reason worship isn't connecting with you is because you're so full of what you've gone after in this world. It's not that most people would agree that God is good. Most people would believe that God loves them. You probably wouldn't find very many people in this world that wouldn't say that. Problem is, you're just not hungry because you filled up on the world, on what the world offers. It isn't because the meal isn't amazing, not because worship isn't amazing, not because God isn't amazing. It's just so full of the world that you're just not hungry. The same way, the reason worship isn't connecting with you today isn't because God isn't great or worthy of our praise. It's just that you're full of what's way lesser. It's just that you're full of what's way lesser. You're full of pleasure, you're full of work, or you're full of materialism, or full of self, or full of worry, or full of stress, or full of addiction, or whatever it is that you filled yourself up with. You've gorged yourself on what is lesser, and now you don't want what is greater. But when you refuse to go after the lesser, instead go after God, amazing stuff happens. Amazing stuff in your life, but also amazing stuff in the people around you. See, guys, this is the thing that I love. A passion for God, when you stay hungry for God and He satisfies you, it spreads to others. Check this out. Psalm 84, 1 through 2 says this. How lovely is your dwelling place, Lord Almighty. My soul yearns, even faints for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. Well, that's from Psalm 84. Well, interestingly enough, David did not write that one. David had a worship team, kind of like the worship team up here. They were called the Sons of Korah. And the sons of Korah were David's disciples. He had mentored them. He'd been their example of what it means to love God. and they were the ones that wrote that. See, King David's passion for God became infectious, and he was able to spread that to other people. Okay? Your passion for God will spread to others. It will spread to your family. It'll spread to your friends. It'll spread to your church. We need people in this church with an unreserved passion for God, because an unreserved passion for God is contagious. It's infective, and it spreads like wildfire. In 2025, we need a church full of people with a passion for God that spreads to others, starting in our homes, moving to this church, moving to our schools, moving to our place of business, moving to our friend groups. That's what we need. If we're going to be effective in reaching the world for Christ, which is what God has told us to do, we're going to have to start with ourselves. We're going to have to get our own house in order. We're going to have to stop eating spiritual CC's pizza and start going after the spiritual Thanksgiving dinner that God wants us to have. So I'm going to ask you, if you're going after the gods of pleasure, or productivity, or a provision, or popularity, I'm going to ask you in the name of Jesus to stop, to repent, to remove those from your life, to remove the spiritual CC's pizza that's deadening you, causing you to live a life of quiet desperation, causing you to look at this world as meaningless and destroying you, and move to the first commandment. You shall have no other gods before me. Start dining at the table of the one and the Almighty, and allowing Him and Him alone to satisfy your life. See, I've found that there are two fears facing people. Two biggest fears. First one's death. I think people are scared of death. The second fear is life. I think human beings are so scared to live that they're paralyzed. Why do you think so many try to escape life? They indulge themselves in drugs or video games or binge watching Netflix or just anything. Why do you think people go after those things? It's to escape from reality. Afraid to truly live. See, guys, we use clocks instead of hourglasses because we like to give the illusion that time is infinite. See, a clock just goes around and around and around. An hourglass, you can see the time slipping by. And if we used hourglasses, we would live much differently. We wouldn't try to embrace all this escapism. But we need to get rid of the gods of pleasure, productivity, provision, and popularity, and embrace the God who says, you shall have no other gods before me. See, John 10:10 is my life verse. Jesus said, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come, you may have life and have it to the full. And when you go after God with an unreserved passion, you start understanding what life to the full really is. Or you can just continue in this mediocre nonsense. Excuse me, I almost said something. That everyone else is doing. means to have no other gods before me, to look at all the things this world offers at you, shouts at you, screams at you, and say, God, I just want you. I just want you. I'm not going to CC's anymore and missing the meal. I just want you. And that's what it means to have no other gods before me. And unless we get this first one right, you all, the other 9 don't matter. The other 9 commandments, a life just does not, it just doesn't matter if we don't get this first one right. You shall have no other gods before me, because I've got a Thanksgiving dinner for you. And if you're gorging yourself on lesser, you're going to miss the meal. You're going to miss the real satisfaction. You're going to miss the real life that I have for you. Look around you, God is saying. Look around you. How many people are really living? Well, I'll tell you who's really living. The ones who have no other gods before Jesus. That's who's really living. And that's what I want for you too. Gallows Christian Church, to be effective in this world, we're going to have to get rid of everything we put in front of God. You shall have no other gods before me. God bless you, and we'll see you next Sunday. Be safe going home. Bye-bye.